A Maryland man is now in a notorious El Salvador mega prison due to what the Trump administration admits is an administrative error. Immigration and Customs Enforcement says Kilmar Abrego Garcia was arrested last month as part of the administration's deportation flights, even though he had legal protection to stay in the U.S. Court documents say he left his home country of El Salvador in 2011 at the age of 16, and a judge deemed him at risk of gang violence if sent back. Despite admitting its mistake, the Trump administration is opposing a request for him to be brought back to the U.S. CBS News legal and political reporter Katrina Kaufman joins us now. So, Katrina, what are administration officials saying, and what does your reporting show about whether their hands really are tied?
Lindsay, the administration is going on the defense here. Even though they admit that there was an error that was made when this man was put on that plane and deported to El Salvador, they are really doubling down. They're saying that he is a member of the MS-13 gang. Even further, they're saying he's a leader of that gang and that he's been involved in human trafficking. So they say they are not going to bring him back.
They say they've seen evidence, but they haven't shown that evidence.
Yes, and years ago, there was an informant who claimed that he was a gang member, but there was never any finding of that. And in fact, a judge found that he needed protected status here in the U.S., that going back to El Salvador could be dangerous for him. Now he's in that El Salvadoran prison. But I talked to his lawyer this morning, and they're making every effort to get him returned. On Friday, there's going to be a hearing, and they're going to ask the court to order that he be brought back to the United States. And his lawyer says that this is something he's done before. He's had clients who were mistakenly deported. In those cases, though, he said this is unique because this man had been given protected status here in the U.S. Other people had been in the midst of their proceedings, so there was more of a confusion, perhaps. But he said as soon as he alerted DHS and the Justice Department in those other cases, they immediately moved to remedy that situation. We're seeing something very different play out here.
And interestingly, podcaster Joe Rogan, who of course endorsed President Trump, said in a recent episode, the idea of innocent people getting swept up in deportation flights to El Salvador is, quote, horrific. You covered the campaign extensively. You know how significant it was for Trump to get that endorsement. How significant is it for him now to be questioning these policies?
Lindsay, it seems very significant for Joe Rogan to be speaking out against Trump. For one, we don't see a lot of people in his circle doing that. There seems to be a fear around that. And Joe Rogan played a very pivotal role in Trump's election. Trump and Vance both went on his podcast. He was crucial for them winning over a key demographic of young men. And now he's criticizing his policy moves. And I think it's very important to see that.
We'll have to see what the fallout is of that. So before we let you go, there is an update in Mahmoud Khalil's case. You've been covering this. He is the pro-Palestinian activist who has been detained. He's in federal custody in Louisiana, has been there since last month. What can you tell us?
So a judge just decided that he's going to keep Mahmoud Khalil's habeas corpus case in New Jersey. There had been a whole situation where it was filed in New York, which is where the case originally was. But Mahmoud Khalil was actually moved to a detention center in Newark, New Jersey, when that petition was filed. And under the law, the petition is supposed to be filed where the person is at that time and also list the custodian that they are under in the detention center. But this judge said that because Mahmoud Khalil was in New Jersey, even though it was filed in New York, he's treating it as though it was filed in New Jersey now. The government had then moved him to Louisiana, which is where they really wanted this case, Lindsay. That is where the conservative Fifth Circuit is and where they wanted this policy decision to be made.
You said two words I don't understand, habeas corpus petition.
So, yes, that's their petition to get him released from custody. They want him, for one, sent from Louisiana to New Jersey, but really they want him released from detention altogether while this case proceeds.
Okay, Katrina Kaufman, thank you.
Thank you.